But listen, Spanish GP, obviously this weekend. Um, there's interesting. So I've just finished, obviously wrapping up UFC segment and heading into MotoGP. I have to say, Mercedes is looking. There's always such long shots on Mercedes, and where they keep winning. Why is that?
Yeah, it's because Ferrari have kind of just been the better team, really. It's
Well,
crazy, really.
so why aren't the bookies like picking up on this and the odds drop? Like I get I get why Mercedes is winning, but why is there still value on them week in, week out? Listen, I don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I just take the lovely odds. But why is it so?
You mean like, well, Mercedes are favourite this weekend, so they
Yeah,
are.
yes,
Five
they
to two
are.
is the best it is the best you can get with Valtteri Bottas.
Yeah,
So it is. But
yeah. I know you
yeah,
and so go on.
but the Ferrari were for the first two races they were kind of 50-50 price wise. We didn't really know like who's going to be favourites, but then the third race and the fourth race, the bookies have pushed Mercedes into favourites, so they have, but just slightly, like not much, like maybe from 3-1 of Mercedes to a 4-1 Ferrari, like.
Yeah. But okay, so who are you on then right now?
This weekend, the first two weekends I took Mercedes and they won. And then I started fading them because I just thought it's time for Ferrari to get a win. In the last two weekends, Mercedes won again. So this weekend, I'm going with Ferrari again. Third time, last chance to pull the trigger on them.
Hmm. Let me
I've
just
I- I've I've taken Vettel to win the race at 5-1. So I have. He's the first two races he wasn't great. We thought his teammate Charles Leclerc was going to be better than him, but the last two races Vettel has shown that he's probably the more experienced driver. But
so
yeah,
sorry,
if I
so you're going on Vettel to win the Spanish Grand Prix.
yeah, I am, yeah,
And
100%. But
nice.
I wouldn't put anyone off backing Charles Leclerc either,
Uh-huh.
because I could be on a Ferrari winner and be on the wrong driver.
Really? Because a lot of people are thinking that this is Lewis Hamilton's to lose, but you're obviously you completely disagree with that.
Well, nearly every Formula One race is almost Lewis Hamilton's to lose. So if you think about it, he's that good. He
Uh-huh.
won there, but he's 6-4. So he is. I see 6-4 there now. But the Mercedes last year in 2018 and 2017, a Mercedes broke down in the Spanish GP. So there might be just something about this track that's unlucky for them. It was Bottas last year and Hamilton in 2017.
And you think it's a Vettel Leclerc this time around?
Yeah, even just if you weigh up like the chances of Ferrari winning five races in a row, like I know they're the best team, but surely
Yeah.
Ferrari, or sorry, not Ferrari, Mercedes, surely Ferrari can get their chance eventually, because they are like they're not that much worse than Mercedes, really. They're not.
Hmm. So who do you
They
think will
had
finish on the Sorry.
Yeah, they had, just to say, they had the second race of the year virtually won until Charles Leclerc's engine turbo went on him. Other than that, they had the race won. But yeah, I just think this weekend could be the weekend. But as I said in my article, if Lewis Hamilton has a bad qualifying, he'll probably drift out to like 3-1, hopefully. And I would back Lewis Hamilton then at 3-1, just to kind of
Hmm.
hedge the bets a bit.
So are you saying that you're not playing Lewis Hamilton right now just purely because of the price, but he stands a very, very good chance of winning?
Purely because of the price. But the thing with
Hmm.
Formula One betting is you can never. There's so many factors and so many chances of people, different riders winning. You have to take value. if you bet the favorite all the time, you might win more than you lose and still not be up a whole lot of money.
I see. I see. What other bets are there? Obviously, because we're talking to win. For example, who do you think will finish on the podium?
Yeah, this weekend in Spain, I have Max Verstappen to finish on the podium at 15-8. So I do. Decent price. Again, you're hoping that some of the Ferraris and Mercedes slip up a bit, but it's where Max Verstappen got his first ever Formula One victory, and he seems to like this track. You
Hmm.
could pull him. You could take him to win the race. I think he's 12-1 to win the race, but I wouldn't bet him to win the race. I think him to finish on the podium at 15-8 is a good price. And on the top 6 finish, I have Kimi Räikkönen finishing the top 6, and that's at 3-1.
Ooh.
It stands a great chance. Again, we're hoping some of the top guys to drift out a bit or crash or whatever, but all you need is a luck. There's a lot of luck involved in Formula One betting.
Yeah, yeah. I understand you're going, and it sounds almost a little bit as well, the same, like I sort of feel like, the very similar conversation to what I'm having with Craig Edwards as well. It's like going, like, he doesn't like to take the favorites, like, because it's just that there's no value, so he goes like for those, like, long odds, and obviously there's a lot of variables inside, so he's making his money that way. So it seems like there's some comparables there. One of the things that we've spoken about in the past is like rain. But I'm guessing if it's in Spain, are we planning on rain? Is there going to be rain in Spain?
There's no rain planning for Spain this weekend, so there's not.
So
That
could
could
heat be a
change.
factor?
Yeah, it's not. The rain is not. It's not as big a factor in Formula One as it is in MotoGP.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a factor, just
Yeah,
down to the sense that some drivers might be slightly better in the rain, but I wouldn't
better in
say
the
there'd be
rain.
more. Yeah, some
Oh, I see.
drivers, a lot of English drivers, which would suit probably Lewis Hamilton. A lot of English drivers seem to be better in the rain, just because when they were younger, they've probably raced a lot more in the rain than
Hmm.
some of the Spanish and Italian and riders, like etc.
Yeah. But what about the heat? Because obviously you were talking about Bottas's like engine exploding and stuff. Like, could heat be a factor in this one?
For the engines, yeah, it can cause problems. It can, but this is where the higher scale Mercedes, Ferrari, their machines, because they've more money, can develop better parts to deal with the heat. So the chances of any of their cars breaking down in the heat is much less than the lower cars. So it
Mhm.
is
And who does this court suit best? Or racetrack, sorry.
a track. Yeah, this track
I was
suits.
like, just
It
tennis.
suits.
Racetrack.
This track suits Max Verstappen. I think Max Verstappen is really good at this track. He's proven it. He's finished on the podium every time. I forgot to say that earlier. He's finished on the podium every time, bar the one race he didn't finish the race. So we can excuse him for that. But in terms of actual cars, I think it suits this Ferrari just a slightly better than Mercedes, and that's why I'm pulling the trigger on Ferrari again this week. But just slightly.
Okay. All right. So just take us through. Obviously, we're going to wrap up this segment. What are your bets for this weekend? I know you mentioned them during, but let's wrap them up.
Yeah, I'll go through all the bets here because I do have a good few prop bets I like to do just
Okay.
to
Okay.
hedge all my bets every which way. I go with Sebastian Vettel race winner 5-1. We're going with Max Verstappen top 3 finish 15-8. Kimi Räikkönen top 6 finish 3-1. I'm going with either Mercedes not to finish the race as they've done in the last 2 years at 4-1. I'm going with Carlos Sainz not to classify, which basically means he doesn't finish the race at 9-4. He's in a Renault. Renault have been like not finishing races a lot this year. So I'm going to take a hint on that one. The first car to retire, a Haas, Team Haas, either of the riders to retire first, 6-1. I'm just thinking there might be 9th, 10th in the grid. The race might start. Could, crash, bump into someone, whatever. And the biggest price I'm going for this week and the last bet is Kimi Räikkönen fastest lap of the race, 66-1.
That's quite a few. How much are you putting on each of these bets?
Every bet is half unit except for Vettel. That's 1 unit. Straight win. All the rest of them are half units.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay. All right. Awesome stuff, Eric. Sorry about this segment was slow. The UFC one took up quite a bit there, but thank you very much. And obviously, if you want to read more about all of these bets, head on over to oddsmarket.com. Eric has written an article for us over there. So best of luck, buddy, and we'll check in with you next week.
Yeah, hopefully I win.
Yes.
See you next week.
Yes. See you next week. Bye-bye.